Okie dokie, the boys and girls, the ladies and I, the Mr. Bagon. Okay, it's gonna be time for a fun science lesson. Okay, so everybody say pizza-broni. Say pizza-roni. And everybody say pineapple ice cream. And if you can hear me, go ahead and say Mamma Mia. It is time for science. Okay? So, this can be a fun activity. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Okay, so for this activity, this is what you're going to need. You are going to need some coloring supplies. I'm using colored pencils. Okay, you'll need your colored pencils. In your plastic bag container, you will need your block. Mine is yellow, but yours may be a different color. You will need your block. You should have a big straw. And hopefully you should have a smaller black straw. Okay, you should have a big jumbo straw and a smaller straw. All right, you will also need a paper clipper. Okay, mi polino. You will need a pencil. You will need your a piece of string right here. And then you will need a piece of white computer paper if you have some. And finally, from your worksheet packet, you will need this called Cross the Finish Line. So this is what you're going to do is, right, we've been talking about pushes and pulls, but we're really going to focus on pushes, right? To push an object means to kind of have an object move farther away from you. So I thought this would be a fun excuse or fun reason for you to use a straw to see if you can push objects away from you. See how far you can push them away from you, and as well as and how quickly or how far and how many few breaths you can do. So this is what's going to happen. I want you to go ahead and take your block and your paper clip. And I want you onto the floor, I want you to place your block and your paper clip on the floor, right here. Now, take your piece of string, and you're going to line it up like you're kind of measuring, like a starting tape. So now I have my block and my paper clip right at the beginning of where the string starts. Okay? Now what this activity is using your straw, you are going to try and blow your block as well as your paper clip past the extended length of your string. Now the goal is to see how few breaths you can do it. So if you can do it in 2 puffs, that's great. Oh, my straw! If it takes you 5 or 6 puffs, that is okay. But it's important that we are paying attention to how many puffs it took us to move the paperclip, because once you move your paperclip past this line right there, you're going to rate the number. So let me demonstrate. So let me do my paperclip, all right? Using, right, is that the starting line? I have my straw in my mouth. I'm going to start. Oh, and you have to keep it straight. So that took me 5. So what I would do is in this line, I would write, it took me 5 puffs to move my paperclip past the finish line. Okay, then you're going to do that for your square or your block, and you're going to do the exact same thing, right? Oh. All right, and then once you count how many puffs it took, you're going to write that number. Maybe it took me 9. Took me 9 puffs. Okay, once you have your numbers, look, there's a little grid here, a little bar chart for you. Now it says to color each block to indicate how many puffs through the straw it took you. So here we have my paper clip. It took me 5 puffs. So that means I have to count 5 boxes. I'm going to go ahead and use green for my paper clip, right? So I would look at my worksheet, and I know it took me 5, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I need to color 5 rows. take your time so you can see. So now it shows us that it took us 5 puffs. Now you're going to do that for your wooden block. You're going to choose a different color. I'm feeling Christmas themed, so I'm going to use red. Okay, so then you're going to look. It took us 9 puffs to move my block. So I'm going to use my block. I'm going to count 9 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And look, it shows us where the 9 is. So then using my color pencils, you may be using crayons or markers. I'm going to color in 9 spaces. So now I can see that it took me more puffs to puff my wooden block across the finish line compared to my paper clip. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. But if you finish early, this is, as you might know, you have a different size straw. So I want you to think and try maybe, these straws are different sizes. This has a bigger hole than the smaller straw. Do you think it will make a difference if you try and use your smaller straw? It took me 5 puffs to move my paper clip across the finish line. But because this straw is smaller, do you think it will take more puffs? The same amount of puffs? Or less or fewer puffs? This is something I want you to think about and investigate. So then once you're done, now you use your smaller straw. Go ahead and compare how many puffs it took you to use push your paper clip and your block across using your smaller straw. Okay, boys and girls, this is your activity. When you're done, try and use your smaller straw, and then think about I want you to look when you're done, look at your worksheet, and I want you to say, it took me 5 puffs compared to 9 puffs. Look at your paper clip and the wooden block, and I want you to think, why did it take more puffs to move the wooden block and less puffs to move the paper clip? What do you notice about those two materials? What might be the same? What might be different about them, which could affect why it took more puffs to move the wooden block compared to the paper clip? Okay, that's what I want you to think about, discuss. I hope you enjoy this activity. It's meant to be a fun lesson. Kindergartners, you have been working so hard. I'm proud of you. If you're watching this means I'm not at school, but I miss you. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Please remember, when you are done, please put everything back in your science bag so that we do not lose these materials. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you soon.